everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So yesterday there was a bit of a strange, there was a horse I saw running that I did make a tweet about and demonstrated why quite a few people should have had a horse as a max bet yesterday, and yet they didn't, which really didn't make any sense. Now, I didn't back the horse because I didn't back it the time before. But let me explain the horse and explain why people should have been having a good bet on it based on the previous run of the horse. So the horse in question was Magic Daze. Now, Magic Daze ran yesterday in a handicap off a mark of 135. Now, the time before, it had been running in the Arkle at Cheltenham. And I know people put the horse up as their nap of the day, a really good selection, a great each-way bet in the Arkle, and things like that. And really, if you had done that 2 runs ago, you should have been going really, being really confident on that horse yesterday. Why? Well, although she was beaten comfortably in the Arkle, she was effectively running off essentially a mark of 145, because she was running off 138, or her mark was 138, but she was getting the £7 allowance. So you could say that's 145. Now, off level weights, she was therefore wrong with Edwardstone by £14, Blue Lord by £13, Saint Sam by 8, Hua Kalur by 7, Riviere de Tel by 5, Course Sublime by 5, Warlord by 4, and Brave Siaska by 1. And yet people felt Magic Daze was a great each-way bet. If you think it was a great each-way bet, you are suggesting that it will finish in the front 3. Therefore, it would have to be rated 154 or more. 147 or more, but we're taking into account the mare's allowance, so we're saying she's a 154 horse, which is above Saint Sam. So 154 means that you thought she was £9 better than what she was actually running off, £9 better than her current handicap mark in a graded race. If you didn't think she could actually win, you just thought she would run a place, you shouldn't have been doing an each-way bet in the first place. It should have been a place bet. If you felt she could even win the race, you felt she was better than Edwardstone, who had been given a rating of 159, which means you felt the horse was 153/160 rated horse. 153 with the mare's allowance, or 160 without the mare's allowance. Yesterday, so just going over that again, you felt she was either a 154 or a 160 horse if it was not in a handicap and if she didn't get any mare's allowance. That's what you're saying by advising that horse as a win bet or an each-way bet in the Arkle. Yesterday, she ran in a handicap 1 run later off her actual handicap mark of 135. That's between 19 and £25 lower than what you felt she could be based on you advising her as an each-way bet or a win bet in the Arkle. That's between 19 and £25 lower, essentially, after just 1 run. Okay, she went forward at Cheltenham and got tired. Yeah, she was taking on much better horses, and to stay in front, if I ran against Usain Bolt, okay, I'm nowhere near quick enough to run against Usain Bolt. Say I ran against Usain Bolt over a mile, how long would I stay in front? Or how hard would I have to go to try and stay in front? Really hard. If I then ran against my granddad and I tried to stay in front, how hard would I have to go to stay in front? Not hard. So the easier race, they don't have to go as hard from the front. So the fact that you could say, oh, well, she didn't run very well at Cheltenham, so I've dropped her for Punchestown. For me, that's a load of rubbish. That is the worst analysis of a horse you could give, because you're saying that you think the horse is now more than 19 to £25 worse than 1 run ago. That's how much your opinion of a horse has changed. And if you're changing your opinion on a horse of that amount of weight in 1 run, yeah, I don't think you're not following racing well enough and understanding racing well enough to be advising horses. I really don't. And there's a few that I noticed did do something like that. Magic Daze was mentioned here. Understarters Orders Racing Podcast said, put Magic Daze into one of your 2 bets in the Arkle. Yesterday, this person actually said, surely Magic Daze is a class above. And there was a couple of answers saying, I'm not sure. She could be well handicapped, but she was disappointing here last year. She could be well handicapped. The fact that the team at US Open Understarters Orders Racing Podcast had suggested she was a good bet in the Arkle, and off 135 she could be well handicapped. What was she in the Arkle then? Similarly, Barry Doyle, the Magic Daze Arkle dream still alive. Absolutely no mention since then for yesterday's race. Stu Dog, Magic Daze in the Arkle, a tipped up Magic Daze in the Arkle back here, 20-1, wins the Arkle, not places, not runs a good race, wins the Arkle. And then yesterday, after the race, should have really been on Magic Daze. Absolutely you should have been. If you felt it could win the Arkle, and it's now essentially, mathematically, between £19 and £25 lower. In actual fact, it's £25 lower because you said it would win the Arkle. It's now running off an essential £25 lower mark from what you believed it was based on you thought it could be Edward Stone and Blue Lord. Owen Johnson, similarly, was a big fan of Magic Daze. No mention of him yesterday. This person, spot on. Mr. Nolan, well done to you. You tipped up Magic Daze in the Arkle. You tipped up Magic Daze again yesterday. Well, that was one of your selections. That's a great bit of analysis. You didn't give up just through one run. You didn't give up on the fact that, opened up at 13-2 and won at 3-1. Well done, Dermo Nolan. I'm rubbish at pronouncing that first name. I apologise. I'm going to call you Dermo. Fantastic that you stuck with that horse. Now, I didn't back that horse in the Arkle, and I didn't back that horse yesterday. So it's not like I'm after time and saying, everyone should have backed it. If you backed it in the Arkle, you should have been backing it yesterday, because, as I said, you would have been between £19 and £25 lower. That's essential, because when you back a horse to win a race, if it's taking on higher rated horses, you think it's better than those higher rated horses, which means you think its handicap mark or official rating should be higher than the highest rated in the race. That's kind of why, going back to one of my previous videos a few days ago about Indefatigable, I felt she was beaten by, or I know she was beaten by McFabulous, but I think McFabulous is a 155 rated horse. I think McFabulous was giving Indefatigable £7 and beat her a length. We'll say that's £8. So the fact that Indefatigable was £10 lower, I think there's a few pounds to play with Indefatigable, because I think in a handicap, she's run better than what McFabulous is. She's run better than her handicap mark based on, I think McFabulous is better than what his official rating is. But I was flabbergasted to see the amount of people that had picked and had advised Magic Daze for the Arkle to then not be advising Magic Daze for yesterday's race, where she was in a much easier race. It was a handicap. She was running off. It's essentially like seeing that horse being given a handicap mark and then the next time being given a mark between £19 and £25 lower. That's what you thought by advising that horse to win the race. You thought that horse was a 160 or a 153 plus the £7 mare's allowance. Off 135 in a handicap, should have been, going big on that. That should have been like, I've definitely got a selection that I really, really strongly like. This is the one. But the fact that they did for the Arkle, they were telling people for the Arkle, and they weren't for the handicap yesterday, just really puts them. I think their analysis has been very, very poor there.